Good morning, preppers. What an incredibly gorgeous day to be outside to prep.
It's beautiful, but what if you don't have any money to prep?
What to do? So here's 10 things you can do right now to prep without having any money.
Number 1, organize your food.
You would be amazed on how well this works in helping you with your preps. You know, put all your meats in one area, all your veggies, all your fruits, your grains, your potato flakes, whatever, your rice. Put all those things in specific categories and locations, and it's going to make your life, I mean, it's amazing how well this works. It'll make your life much easier.
By organizing, you'll find what you have and you don't have in your thing. It works amazing.
Number 2, inventory your preps.
Now this one goes hand in hand with the first one. If you've organized your food, then you can inventory and know what you need.
Yeah, and then at that point, you can actually write down what you need, and the next time you do have money, you know exactly what to get instead of, you know, like splurge spending, which is a typical thing that happens with preppers.
Number 3, what do you need?
So organize, inventory, now you know what you need, off to the store you go so you can buy those things. Again, it gets rid of that splurge spending, which typically happens, but even more importantly, it's gonna fill in the gaps of all the foods that you're missing. It's not simply just eating.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's the case, we'll just eat rice and beans all the time, which are not always the best things for prepping, by the way, but it's going to set you up so you can actually fill in the gaps of the things you need, especially when it comes to proteins.
Yes, exactly.
Number 4, store away for a rainy day. Leftovers, extra food, food that's about to go bad, which we all have in our pantry or down below in our storage stash stockpile area. And so you want to be able to find ways, whatever way works best for you that you're knowledgeable about. And on those days we have extra time, start storing it away.
Can, dehydrate, things like that.
Mylar bags, which I love. Ooh, if you have it, the ability, freeze dry stuff. But there's always ways, even if you temporarily put it in the freezer in a freezer bag, that's better than letting it go to waste. So a perfect activity for a day where you're not doing anything else.
Number 5, organize your bug out gear.
Now, we've made so many videos on why you should not bug out and the dangers of bugging in. Either way, you should still prepare to bug out. You have no idea what might be coming in your direction. And you want to prepare for this. I mean, even if you don't put stuff in an actual bag, but making lists of what you need and copies of stuff too, right?
Yeah, it's very essential.
Yeah, so actually, we always talk about having a fireproof, waterproof bag, but have a location where you have at least copies of all the papers you might need in case you have to evacuate or bug out.
Exactly. Medication for your family, bills, birth certificate, Social Security, everything at one place that you can grab very quickly.
Yeah, military discharge papers, utility information.
Everything.
And I'm working on checklists for these too, guys, so hopefully they'll be out very soon. But we want to be able to keep organized in this fashion also, and perfect day to be able to do those kind of things. Number 6, make plans for evacuating.
Now we mention this one all the time, guys. We always say to make a route or a plan of where you need to go, which way to go, and we always say to have at least 3 options for that. It's very important.
And I know in our minds, we simply will tell ourselves, I'm gonna have option A only, and I'm gonna go to Grandma Nanny's farm, which is like 3 hours away. But even though you've driven to Grandma Nanny's farm, which I just made up obviously, 3 hours away many times, driving may not happen during that time.
Exactly.
So not only, as like Ashley said, you need to have contingency plans. Instead of Grandma Nanny, I need to go to Grandma Girdle, okay? Or whatever the case may be. And you need to actually have plans on how to get there. And in our minds, well, I'm gonna drive, which may not be a possibility.
May have got a flat tire, or the battery was dead.
Or your car exploded. I mean, who knows what's gonna happen? But that's what we wanna always do, is plan for the worst and hope for the best. And hopefully everything will work out just fine when you do bug out and evacuate. But you can't always depend on that, because guess what? Your life depends on you looking at alternate means.
Number 7, light your path. Now this goes for if you're bugging in or going somewhere. It's the best to run this through, turn off all the lights in your house and try it and see where things need to be moved or changed so that you guys are well prepared for when it goes dark.
Not to mention, not able to walk around your house, which obviously is important too, but are you able to get to your gear?
Yes.
Do you know where your gear's at? At least you know a place where you can be able to get some emergency flashlights to light your path. But how about when you bug out? Because like I said, you may not be able to go in your car. It exploded, remember? So why don't you do this? Why don't you look at, you know what, Grandma Girdle's house is 3 hours in that direction, and between here and there, I'm gonna have to walk, and there's these forests in between.
They get pretty dark.
Perfect time to start building up your stamina and walking and hiking and everything else, and start looking at the paths. Not so you only look at them on a map, but you know them like the back of your hand, because you want to have it so if you're in those really bad situations, inside or outside your house, you want to be able to do it second nature and not have to depend on looking at papers and maps all the time. It's going to be a mad rush and stressful as it is. Number 8, practice makes perfect. And like we say all the time, we train as we would fight and fight as we train. And obviously, hopefully, we're not planning on doing a lot of fighting when crap hits the fan. But from this military term, you know, you don't want to simply just go out willy-nilly and do things. You want to practice, 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 so that when the time comes, it's going to be second nature to you. And this definitely has to go with practice makes perfect.
Yes,
so
exactly.
find whatever plan you want to do, especially bugging out or trying to do something in your home, and set it down, write it down on paper. It's weird how your mind works, but when you write it down and log it down and put steps on there, life seems to all fall into place.
It helps so much.
Yep, so practice, practice, practice makes perfect.
Number 9, finish what you started. We're all guilty of this one, that's for sure.
Do you finish what you start?
I try to.
Yeah, and it's funny because you get so excited about projects, and off you go working on them, you get about halfway done or 3/4 done. I mean, out here in the country, sometimes we have an excuse, and you're like, oh, I don't have enough parts to finish this job.
All the time.
So you put them on order or put them on a list next time you go to town. Those are understandable, but you still don't get back to it sometimes.
Yeah, it sometimes is weeks later.
But you know, days like this are perfect. I don't have any money to prep, and I'm enjoying watching Goshen prepping. Maybe you should like go through our old videos and sit down and sew up that ripped sleeping bag.
Exactly.
Or
organize your spices.
Oh yeah, exactly. Or finish that spice rack.
Yeah, that's even better.
There's always things to do. I mean, hopefully in your life you have countless things to do. And in my opinion, if you don't have countless things to do, then you're not challenging yourself, because you should be trying to push yourself into new things.
Exactly.
But I mean, my list is a mile long.
So is mine.
And of course, taking care of the kids and playing with the kids and spending time with them is on that list also. So it kind of pushes things off the back burner. But either way, you got to finish what you start. Number 10, be a goal setter.
This one can be fun and challenging.
Setting goals is, I mean, I was going to say it comes second nature. I don't think it comes second nature to anybody.
You have to learn it.
We purposely set goals at least once a year.
We do. We look at what we want. We do like a 6-month and then a year goal and then a couple year goal.
And we do a short-term one, like
do.
something we want done in a few months, and try to do quarterlies. And we have noticed we have accomplished so many things in our lives by simply writing down on paper. And then, of course, you can't just stop there. Then you have to try to work yourself in that direction.
Yeah.
Let's see, Wayne Gretzky, the amazing hockey star, said, you will miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So people will say all the time, well, why bother even setting goals? Because, you know, especially with prepper channels, we don't know what's coming tomorrow. That's the point of setting goals. You want to be able to try to change yourself and your surroundings to make everything better. So are you a goal setter? Yeah, I'm talking to you. You should ask yourself that question, because if you're answering, well, no, I don't really set goals, you should ask yourself why. Because life is about advancing. Life is about learning things. Life is about preparing. Life is about, you name it. And the thing is, the world is set up in a way where whatever you want to do, you should go for it. I mean, obviously there's certain things you can't do. I get that. But you should be setting goals and always advancing yourself, bettering yourself. And you can never do that unless you actually have goals to try to achieve those things. I find there's a lot of people who don't do this.
Yeah, there is.
And it should be part of every single thing you do, is basically advancing yourself even more. Set goals. In my opinion, if you don't set goals, you're giving up on life.
Yeah.
Because life is about learning and exploring.
Challenging.
Challenging, exactly. Challenge is what it's all about. All right, anyways, there you go. There's 10 things for you could do on a rainy day, 10 things you could do today because you don't have any money. And I'm sure there's other things too. What do you think? I'm sure there's some other things you could add to this list. But I guess the thing is, time is short. Time's always short. And so when you actually have a day come around that you can get things done, but you have no money, who said you have to have money?
Exactly.
There are so many things you can do to still prep and be ready for what's coming. All right, thanks for watching.